Welcome to Payback POV, where you'll enjoy short, dramatic stories full of betrayal, heartbreak, and unforgettable revenge. We hope you have a great time listening, and don't forget to hit subscribe so we can bring you even more exciting tales. Now, let's start with today's story. Studied abroad for 1 year, my husband stole my company and moved in his Mistress. When I left the country for a 1-year study program, I entrusted everything, including the company I had invested in and built, to my husband, Victor Lucas. But every month, right on payday, Victor would still transfer me a salary out of his own paycheck. The memo line was always the same. To my dear wife, thank you for your hard work. Everyone envied me for marrying such a good man. Until 3 days before our wedding anniversary. That day, Victor posted 2 movie tickets on his social media with a caption, "Waiting for you at the usual place." The moment I saw it, I understood the hidden message. Excited, I pushed myself to finish my thesis in 2 sleepless nights. And on the very morning of our anniversary, I caught a red-eye flight home. I wanted to surprise him, but when I swiped my card at the CEO's office door, the system flashed, "Access denied." Confused, I wondered if I had gone to the wrong place. Just then, the office door opened from the inside. A young, lively, beautiful woman appeared. She looked me up and down, then smiled sweetly as she lifted her employee badge. The CEO's office is only open to his executive assistant, me. Anyone else needs to book an appointment with the secretary's office first. My first reaction was, so I really did come to the wrong place. After all, Victor once swore to me that he would never hire a female assistant, a promise he made to prove his loyalty. "I'm sorry," I said calmly. "I must have gone to the wrong office." Her tone stayed sugary, but her words were sharp. "That's okay, just remember your role. Not everyone can just walk into places like this." Her words stung, a veiled mockery behind that polite smile. But why would a stranger talk to me like that? Unless, no, maybe I was overthinking it. I walked toward the main lobby. Above the reception area shone the golden letters, Lucas Tech. It was the very company I had funded for Victor. I even renamed it on our wedding day, as my gift of love to him. Feeling uneasy, I called Victor. "When did you hire a female assistant?" His tone was evasive. "What? No, of course not. I'm busy right now. Honey, I'll call you later, okay?" Before I could say another word, he hung up. Just then, the elevator chimed open. Victor walked out, both arms loaded with huge shopping bags full of anime merchandise. The instant he saw me, his eyes widened in shock. "Natalie Grant, what are you doing here?" I ignored his panic, my gaze dropping to the bags in his hands. My brow furrowed. "And what exactly are these?" He stammered, but I caught the flicker of panic in his eyes. Gifts. I knew you were coming home, so I bought you presents." Presents. I hadn't liked anime since grade school. Inside, I laughed bitterly. "You knew I was coming home. Then do you know why I came back?" Victor flashed a confident smile, pretending to understand me completely. "Of course, because you missed your husband." "I missed you too, baby. A whole year without you nearly killed me." He even winked at me. "Come here. Give your man a kiss." My stomach churned with nausea. He had forgotten. He had forgotten our wedding anniversary. Those movie tickets weren't for me. The person he was waiting for wasn't me. And just as anger surged in my chest, a saccharine female voice rang out behind me. "Victor, you're back. Did you get the limited edition I asked for?" The young woman skipped over, linking her arm through his. Her name, as I would later learn, was Nina Torres. 2 nights without sleep had already left me dizzy, but seeing her cling to Victor made my temples throb with rage. "Victor," I said coldly, "during office hours, you're out shopping anime merchandise for her instead of working." I pointed at Nina. "Who exactly is she? You'd better give me an explanation." Nina widened her eyes in mock surprise, then clapped her hands together. "Oh, so you're Natalie Grant. Sorry I didn't recognize you earlier at the office. You're so different from your photos. You're not mad at me, are you?" Her tone was sweet, but her pout was deliberately fake, like a child pretending innocence. I gave her a frosty look. "Do I even know you?" Victor immediately stepped between us, shielding her behind him. "Natalie, didn't you say you'd be abroad for 2 years? Why are you back so soon?" "Nina is just my new assistant. She just graduated and needed a job. You know how tough the market is right now. I figured giving her a chance was like contributing to society. Nina leaned against him, voice dripping with syrup and smugness. That's right, Miss Grant. Thanks to Victor being so kind, I got hired right after graduation. He even pays me $20,000 a month, so I won't struggle in this expensive city. Without him, I don't know how I'd survive. $20,000. I turned to Victor, my fury rising like wildfire. She's a fresh grad, a simple assistant, and you're paying her $20,000 a month. That's not a salary, that's a sugar daddy allowance. Victor's face flushed red. Natalie, why do you always think so dirty? I give you money every month, even though you don't work. Nina actually works for me, so what's wrong with paying her a little more? I almost laughed out loud. A little more. When Victor first wanted to start his own company, I bought this entire business and handed it to him. Every time he made a mess, I poured in millions to patch the holes. And now he dared talk about the few thousand he paid me each month, as if I owed him. I clenched my fists, forcing my voice steady. You once promised me you wouldn't hire a female assistant. You said it was because you loved me. And now, you've broken your own vow. Victor's expression collapsed, palling like a balloon losing ire. Natalie, please, don't be angry. If you think Nina's salary is too high, we can adjust it. Let's not fight over something this small. You came all the way home. Do you really want to spend today arguing with me? I drew a sharp breath. These two weren't worth my health. But before I could calm down, the side door opened, and a group of fresh-faced employees spilled out. They swarmed Nina like she was the sun, their voices filled with awe. Wow, Nina, your CEO boyfriend spoils you so much. He even lined up for this limited edition just for you. Nina handed out the bags generously. Here, you guys can share. Praise flooded the hall. Mrs. CEO, you're so generous. Nina, you're the best. You always think of us. Her smirk shone with pride as she declared, of course. We're all classmates. I'd never let you suffer. Didn't I convince Victor to hire you all here? Now you're earning salaries at my standard. My heart sank. No wonder I hadn't seen any of the loyal employees who had helped me build this company from scratch. They'd all been fired. Victor had kicked out the seasoned veterans, just to make room for Nina and her little gang of freeloaders. I pulled out my phone with trembling hands and opened the latest financial report. In just 1 year, the company's valuation had dropped by half. Net profit had crashed into the red. I had trusted him completely, and this was how he repaid me. At that moment, my fury eclipsed every trace of hurt. A cheating husband I could tolerate, but destroying my company, my blood, my sweat, my years, never. I would make Victor Lucas regret the day he crossed me. I stared at Victor's arms, full of cartoon dolls and trading cards, my fury boiling. Nina, sensing my glare, giggled and thrust a bag at me. Ms. Grant, I didn't know you were suddenly coming back, so I didn't prepare a gift. Here, take this limited edition, as a welcome home present from me and Victor. I snatched the bag and ripped it open. The plushies and trinkets spilled across the floor with a loud crash. Victor immediately pulled Nina into his arms, shielding her like she was fragile glass. His eyes blazed with rage. Natalie, Nina was being kind. Why would you humiliate her like that? I laughed coldly. Humiliate her? I haven't even begun asking what you two have been doing behind my back this past year. I stepped forward with every word, forcing Victor to back away until his shoulders hit the wall. Where are the employees who built this company with me? How did these kids get hired? Where are the interview files? The quarterly performance reports? The payroll justification? Victor's lips trembled. He had no answer. Instead, Nina suddenly burst into tears, sobbing as if I had struck her. Victor, she wants to fire me and all my friends. If she does, we'll all be unemployed. Victor panicked, fumbling for tissues to wipe her tears. Don't cry, Nina. As long as I'm CEO, no one can fire you. Natalie. He turned to me, eyes blazing. How could you be so heartless? Do you know how tough it is for new grads to find jobs right now? I almost laughed at the hypocrisy. Nina then broke free dramatically, running toward the door with tears, streaming, if my presence makes Ms. Grant unhappy, I'll leave. Just please don't fire my friends, they're innocent. Victor lunged forward, grabbing her around the waist. No, Nina, don't go. You're too naive to survive out there alone. I can't let you get hurt. She sniffled pitifully against his chest. whispering just loud enough for me to hear. Victor, you're so good to me. You gave me and my friends jobs, a high salary, even a place to live, so I wouldn't have to rent a scary apartment alone. My jaw tightened. So they were already living together, and not just anywhere, but in my condo. The newlywed home I had furnished piece by piece. The bed I had chosen for our wedding night. Disgust churned in my stomach. But fine. If they wanted to play house, I'd let them. Because the only thing I wanted now was to take back everything that belonged to me. I cut through their nauseating display with a voice like ice. Don't worry. If you're scared she'll be tricked, Victor, then just stay by her side. Go with her. Protect her day and night. His face drained of color, panic flashing in his eyes. Natalie, what are you saying? I sneered. You've already moved in with her. Why should I get in the way of such true love? Pack your things and go live happily ever after. And take her little friends with you. Victor's face turned beet red, veins pulsing on his temple. Natalie, don't twist things. She's only staying temporarily while you were away. She was never going to live here forever. He jabbed a trembling finger at the Golden Company logo on the wall. And as for the company, the appointment letter clearly names me as the legal CEO. On what basis do you think you can fire me? A laugh bubbled out of me, sharp and bitter. Victor, you really think Lucas Tech belongs to you? He paled further, as if terrified of what I'd reveal. Natalie, come on, we don't lack money. Why be so cruel? If you don't like Nina's group, we'll just buy another company and start fresh. With our abilities, growing it big will be easy. I stared him down, my words like knives. Our abilities. Don't make me laugh. Every contract signed, every investor convinced, every system put in place. I did that. Without me, this company would have collapsed 100 times already. You're just the clown who took credit. Victor froze, his face ashen. And that was when Nina finally stepped forward, chin high, her voice sharp. Enough, Ms. Grant. This company is Victor's. Who he hires is none of your business. You're just a distant relative, freeloading off his generosity. You have no right to interfere. My lips curled into a smile. Relative, she puffed up with pride, certain she had exposed me. Victor told me everything. You're just some distant cousin. He let you stay in his house out of pity, and even gave you a fake assistant position with a paycheck you never earned. You should be grateful, instead of barging in here, acting like you own the place. The crowd of her classmates immediately erupted with jeers and mockery. See, she's been living off Victor all along. Ugly and old, yet she dares to dream he'd choose her over Nina. She doesn't even show up to work, why should she get a salary? The noise swelled until the walls shook. But I only smiled, because they had no idea who they were really talking to. The taunts kept flying, their voices a cruel chorus. Kick her out, Victor. She doesn't belong here. Yeah, fire her already. Victor slowly raised his hand, motioning them to quiet down. He smirked at me like a man who thought he had already won. Natalie, enough. Everyone here knows the truth. Walk away now, and I'll forget this ever happened. Out of consideration for family, I'll even keep sending you your monthly allowance. But if you keep making trouble, don't blame me for being ruthless. Applause and cheers erupted around him. Mr. Lucas is so generous, so magnanimous. I looked at his smug little face and simply nodded. All right, I'll leave. He blinked, caught off guard by how easily I agreed. Relief washed over his features. But as I passed him, I suddenly stopped, then slapped him. Smack. The sound echoed through the office. His head snapped to the side, a bright red handprint blooming on his cheek. He staggered back, too stunned to fight back. Nina shrieked, Natalie, are you crazy? Her little entourage surged forward, ready to attack. I only laughed coldly, pulled a folder from my bag, and tossed it onto the desk. Under the bright lights, the seal on the top page gleamed red. Open your eyes, all of you. I am the chairwoman of Lucas Tech. Even Victor's position as CEO exists, because I appointed him. Touch me if you dare. The room froze. Nina's prized limited edition doll slipped from her hands, hitting the floor with a dull thud. She stared at me, lips trembling. See, chairwoman, that's impossible. Her friends panicked, voices overlapping. Wait, is she serious? Victor, tell us it's not true. Victor's face twisted in humiliation. His eyes bulged, and his voice cracked. You forged this. Natalie, Stop lying just to get rid of Nina. I snapped my fingers. The elevator at the end of the hall dinged open. My legal team marched in, suits sharp, shoes striking the floor like war drums. The noise in the office died instantly. Mr. Taylor, my family's longtime attorney, slammed a stack of documents onto the desk. Mr. Lucas, here is the company registration and shareholder agreement. Ms. Natalie Grant owns 90% of Lucas Tech. Your 10% stake was a wedding gift, and the contract clearly states, if you harm the company's interests, that gift may be revoked. Victor's knees buckled. He staggered back against the wall, pale as chalk. Mr. Taylor flipped another page. According to corporate law, the chairwoman has full authority to appoint or remove the CEO. Effective immediately, Victor Lucas is dismissed from his position. No. Victor lunged forward, but the bodyguards blocked him. His voice rose into a desperate scream. This company is mine. I built it from nothing. Natalie, you can't do this. We're husband and wife. Husband and wife. I cut him off, pulling a divorce agreement from my purse and throwing it in his face. That ended the moment you brought Nina into our wedding home. I turned to Nina, who was frozen in shock. By the way, the Riverside condo you've been living in. It's my premarital asset. You're out today. If you're still there tomorrow, I'll call the locksmith and movers myself. Nina burst into tears, clutching Victor's arm. Victor, say something. The house and company are yours, right? But Victor sat on the floor, staring blankly at the shareholder certificate, his lips trembling with no words to give. Mr. Taylor's voice sliced through the silence. As for Nina Torres and her associates, your employment is terminated immediately. You were hired without proper procedure and have severely harmed company operations. Pack your things and leave. Shouts of protests broke out. You can't do this. Victor hired us. I sneered. Then go demand your salaries from him. And one more thing, those bloated paychecks you received. That was company embezzlement. Legal will be recovering every cent. The room erupted into chaos. Some cried. Some cursed Victor to his face. Nina fainted outright, collapsing to the floor. Victor crawled toward me, clutching at my ankle like a beggar. His eyes brimmed with tears. Natalie, I was wrong. Please, give me another chance. I yanked my leg free, staring down at him with cold detachment. Chance you already wasted every chance the moment you betrayed me. That night, I returned to my Riverside condo, the wedding home I had once decorated with such care. A moving crew was already waiting downstairs. Inside, the living room was littered with throw pillows embroidered with cutesy couple cartoons, the vanity overflowing with cheap cosmetics, and the closet crammed with a messy mix of men's and women's clothes. My stomach twisted in disgust. I handed the team leader a checklist. Anything marked in red goes straight to the dumpster. The rest, if it belongs to Victor, pack it up and leave it by the elevator. If no one claims it within 24 hours, it's gone. The workers moved fast. Nina's tacky cartoon pajamas were shoved into trash bags. Victor's rare collectible sneakers, the ones he bragged about for years, were tossed into a box without a second thought. Sunlight streamed through the windows, highlighting every cheap token of their so-called romance. To me, it all looked like dollar store props in a bad play. Suddenly, a shrill scream echoed up the stairwell. Who gave you permission to touch my things? Nina stormed in, hair messy, dress covered in dust, clearly having rushed straight from the office. She froze at the sight of the overturned closet, then whirled on me, eyes red. Natalie, you've gone too far. Victor won't let you get away with this. Before I could respond, Victor stumbled in behind her, still in the same wrinkled suit from the day before, my handprints stark across his cheek. Nina clutched his arm like a drowning woman. Victor, look what she's doing. She's kicking us out. But Victor shoved her off so hard she slammed into the closet. He straightened his tie, forcing out a shaky smile in my direction. Natalie, please listen to me. It's all a misunderstanding. I raised a brow. Really? Then maybe Nina would like to hear how you swore to me you'd never hire a female assistant, or how you promised this condo would always be our forever home. Nina froze. Her tears stopped instantly. She turned to Victor, horrified. Is that true? You were married all along. Victor's face turned crimson. He spun on her, eyes blazing. Shut up. If you hadn't thrown yourself at me every day, Natalie never would have gotten mad. You're nothing but trouble. Get out of my sight. Her face crumpled as if someone had ripped her world apart. Why you promised to marry me? Marry you? Victor barked a cruel laugh. You think I'd ever divorce a grand heiress just to marry a nobody like you? Don't be delusional. He turned back to me, eyes suddenly pleading. Natalie, she means nothing. Please, give me another chance. I'll end it with her right now. I'll beg the old employees to return. I'll rebuild the company, please. Then, in front of Nina, in front of the movers, he dropped to his knees and clung to my leg like a desperate dog. My chest tightened, not with pity, but with disgust. This was the man who once boasted he'd give me the world. Now, he was groveling at my feet, reduced to nothing. I shook him off like dirt. The people you should be begging aren't me. Beg the employees you fired. Beg the company you nearly destroyed. Beg the marriage you stained. The workers carried out the last box. On the side was a pink note in Victor's handwriting. Nina, my sweetheart. Nina lunged at it, screaming, but the movers brushed her aside. Expired items go to the dumpster. She collapsed on the floor, sobbing uncontrollably, as her so-called love was hauled away, piece by piece, and Victor, he stayed on his knees, whispering, I was wrong, over and over, until my footsteps faded from the apartment for good. A year later, the electronic board on Wall Street lit up with 4 bold words. Grant Technologies, NASDAQ listed. I stood at the podium as chairwoman, the market bell echoing in my ears. Behind me was the team I had reassembled, veterans Victor once cast aside, now restored and burning with pride. In the past 12 months, we cut away Victor's reckless projects and doubled down on our core innovations. We launched a breakthrough in artificial intelligence that secured industry-wide recognition. Our market cap not only recovered, it tripled. That night at the celebration party, Mr. Taylor raised his champagne glass. Chairwoman Grant, word in the industry is clear. Anyone foolish enough to hire Victor Lucas's people is basically declaring war on you. I clinked glasses with him, expression calm. The truth was, on the day my legal team reclaimed the company, they also compiled Victor's crimes, embezzlement, falsified reports, wrongful termination. The evidence was sent through the proper channels. In an industry as tight-knit as tech, a ruined reputation spreads like wildfire. Victor's name was finished. As for Nina, she and her friends tried applying to dozens of companies. Each resume came back untouched. Some drifted to small factories, only to be fired for incompetence. Eventually, they crowded into a dingy apartment, bickering daily over who would pay the utility bill. Victor fared even worse. Rumor had it, he tried to work as a mall security guard, but was rejected because of his tainted background. Eventually, he ended up washing dishes at a rundown diner on the city's edge. At night, he hawked pirated DVDs at the flea market. One autumn weekend, I met Daniel Hart, a brilliant venture capitalist I'd partnered with on a biotech project. His sharp instincts and my decisiveness had made us a powerful team, and over time, more than that. That afternoon, as we sat in a sunlit cafe, Daniel showed me data on his tablet. This startup has a promising direction. Want to join me on the deal? But before I could respond, a tray wobbled beside us. Coffee sloshed onto Daniel's slacks. Sorry, I'm so sorry. The trembling voice was familiar. I looked up. Victor, dressed in a faded server's uniform, hair greasy, face lined with exhaustion. His hands shook as he bent down, trying to gather the shards of a shattered mug. Blood seeped from a cut on his finger. The cafe manager stormed over, shouting, Victor, that's the 5th glass, this month. If you can't handle this, get out. Victor's shoulders shook violently. He opened his mouth, but no words came. Daniel frowned, ready to intervene, but I touched his arm. It's fine. We'll move to another table. As I passed, Victor lifted his head. His eyes were red, voice hoarse. Natalie, please, can you give me another chance? I didn't pause, didn't even look back. Mr. Lucas, I said coldly. Everything you broke, you've already been paying for. Daniel gently pulled out a chair for me at our new table. You okay? He asked softly. I smiled, taking the warm glass of water he handed me. I've been okay for a long time. Outside the cafe window, sunlight filtered through autumn leaves. Daniel's eyes lingered on me, calm, steady, full of warmth. Meanwhile, behind us, Victor crouched on the floor, hunched like an old man, sweeping up broken glass with trembling hands. He never looked smaller, but all of that had nothing to do with me anymore. The betrayals, the humiliation, the filth. I had left them all behind. What remained was a future brighter than anything I'd ever known. 3 years later, at the company's anniversary gala, I stood on stage as chairwoman of Grant Technologies, announcing our billion-dollar research initiative in semiconductor innovation. The audience of global investors erupted in thunderous applause. Daniel stood beside me, his palm warm against mine. Later that evening, under the silver glow of the moon, he draped his jacket over my shoulders. "When you said never compromise on stage," he whispered, "your eyes lit up like stars." I looked up into his gaze, brighter than the night sky itself. He dropped to one knee, producing a velvet box. "Natalie Grant, I don't want to be just your partner in business anymore. Will you let me be your partner in everything forever?" The diamond caught the moonlight, glittering like the first dawn. I took back my company. I nodded, smiling through tears. Not long after, whispers reached me. Nina had been reduced to handing out flyers on busy street corners, chased off by security guards. Victor. Some said he slept under a highway bridge, begging with a cracked bowl, muttering, "I was once a CEO, but I no longer cared." They were like leaves swept away in the wind, once loud, now irrelevant. The true ending wasn't revenge. It was standing taller, shining brighter, and living better than ever before. As spring came, Daniel and I planned our wedding, in a garden filled with camellias. My employees teased me, saying, "Chairwoman Grant, the flowers are almost as beautiful as your name." I rested my hand on my growing belly, smiling as Daniel lifted his camera to capture the moment. And I realized the happiest ending was never about punishing anyone. It was about turning every wound, every betrayal, into the soil that helped me bloom stronger. From the day I turned my back, Victor and Nina were erased from my life, and in their place stood only a radiant future.
Stories of betrayal, whisper and bold, heartbreak and revenge, they collide in the night. Dramatic confessions in shadows and light. This is Payback POV, where the tales hit hard like destiny. Stay a while, let the stories flow. Don't forget to like and hit subscribe below. Every scandal's a spark, every heartbreak's a flame. Unforgettable endings, you'll remember the name. We'll take you through love, through the lies they weave. Every twist, every turn, you just won't believe. This is Payback POV. Revenge and rhythm, pure energy. Thanks for listening, come back soon. We'll drop new tales neath the blood red moon.
Thanks for tuning in to Payback POV. Hit subscribe and join us for more unforgettable stories of betrayal, heartbreak, and sweet revenge.
This is Payback POV, where the tales hit hard like destiny. Stay a while, let the stories flow. Don't forget to like and hit subscribe below.
Every scandal's a spark, every heartbreak's a flame. Unforgettable endings, you'll remember the name. We'll take you through love, through the lies they weave. Every twist, every turn, you just won't believe.
This is Payback POV. Revenge and rhythm, pure energy. Thanks for listening, come back soon. We'll drop new tales neath the blood red moon.
Thanks for tuning in to Payback POV. Hit follow, hit subscribe, and join us for more unforgettable stories of betrayal, heartbreak, and sweet